Hello and welcome, everybody, to the Open Bar new show. New show alert. This is, look, this is my time to come on, tell you guys what I'm doing, take your questions. Is the chat working? Talk to me in the chat. Let's make sure. Yeah. Saucy, Risky Biz, Rachel. Great. I was going to say, hey, today we got too many ducks to feed. We can't do the open bar, but why not? Y'all just come feed some ducks with me. So let's get right into it. I sent out the duck signal this morning. Definitely going to get burnt doing that. So let's just talk about it. The market is Teflon right now. You could see this in the S&P 500 going back to the late summer. Hard to come by more than a couple red candles at a time. That's just where we're at. You look at the riskiest groups, they're doing the best. ARK is my index for that, hitting new cycle highs. Everything's working out here. JC was talking about in the morning show this morning how the riskiest, most offensive stocks from around the world are the ones doing the best. Today, for me at least, there's just a lot of selling going on a day like this, right? We rushed out a bunch of trades last week. We put in a bunch of new exposure. I'm getting nervous that we're hitting a big melt up moment. And I know no matter how long I am, I'll look back and wish I was longer in an environment like this, right? We've been here before, I've done this before. And I just know you get FOMO as a trader. You want to like own everything in moments like this, but you can't. So let's talk about some things that we're trading today, some things that I'm taking profits in today. And we'll talk about why. You guys, be active in the chat. Ask me questions. Tell me what you want to look at, what you want to talk about. Are you selling, doubles or taking some profits in something today? We'll look at the chart. But for me, top of mind is AMD. Why? This thing zoomed. This thing absolutely took off. Spencer, put my chart down real quick. I got to pull up my brokerage. Put my screen off. Okay. I'm literally going to sell these live. Talk about what we did here. AMD. We got in the other day right here trying to play this coil. Erase this. Why? Well, the AI trade was heating back up. AMD is still an AI stock, really, but for all intents and purposes. And we see stuff going on. For example, we did Supermicro. That one doubled in, I don't know, one day for us, right here. Boom. So that's feedback from the market saying, hey, you should do more stuff with these AI stocks. They're really working. People are doing deals with OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT. That's what sent AMD up about 30% yesterday. You see this morning, right? These themes are so real. You see this morning, I come in, Dell updates their guidance, stocks up 5% pre-market, another big AI story, right? So this is just a big group right now, big theme right now. For me, you get lucky sometimes, you buy the right vehicles, bang, you get some sort of an announcement, right? Like the deal between OpenAI and AMD, and you sell into something like this every time. Why? Because we bought the 10, no, we must have bought the 1117. Do we buy the 1017? Which calls do we buy? I don't even remember. I'm looking at the 1017s now that I'm in. I paid about, I believe, $4 for these. They're worth about 45 today, the 1017 170s. That's a 10x in a couple days. You take the whole position off. That's what I would do. Why? Because up here, this is the coil we're playing. This is why we bought this. Down here, because we were anticipating this coil to pop. Right? We got an absolute outsized move. This is a gift, right, from the market gods. So we lose our edge at this point. Look at RSI here. This is just a traditional measure of how extended a trend is over the short term on a daily time frame here. RSI is north of 80, almost 82. That's an incredibly high reading, right? You zoom out on a chart like this, and you could see just here, RSI 14 on the daily doesn't get this extended very often. It did back in July when price, hit this local top and started building out this coil. So I'm going to take all the profits in AMD today. Right now, whatever, you get a little greedy. I have a sell order out at 55. Doesn't look like it's going to hit. We're ask 45, bid 44.60 right now in the calls that I'm looking to get out of. Okay, so what do? I don't want to give back much money on something like this. So sure, I'm able to hold a couple calls. Probably sold the majority of my AMD exposure yesterday. You never know. You get another ramp today. Stocks up 5-10%. Great. I'm open to that. So you ride some into the next day. then you don't get it, right? So you drill in, here's a 15-minute. How will I protect myself on a day-to-day with a position like this in AMD? Really, I think the best spot to get out was right here. Once you violate that opening gap up candle, right, and you make a new day low right here, that's one spot you could sell. Now, if you don't want to get shook out on an intraday time frame, this is a 1 minute chart. Look at the 15, right, and take it on a close below that level on the 15, right? You use it in the same way you would use a daily chart, where on the daily, a stock could blow your stop intraday, right? But it closes above your stop, you're not out. Right? You're giving it a chance here. So use the 15-minute in the same way. So if you get a 15-minute close below, the opening low here, which is whatever, 214, called 215, then okay, that's a sell signal. That's what I'm going to do today with AMD. That's how I'm planning to manage my way out of this trade. Going to check the chat. Yeah, JC doesn't like melt up. No, Rachel, what do you mean it's hard? It's easy to feed the ducks. It should feel great as you're doing it, right? It's not hard. It should be really easy, actually. You should be so happy to do it. What's up, Lund? Brian Lund. What a guy. I was thinking of all of the great mentors that I've had in this industry over the years, and Brian Lund is at the top of that list for me. Okay, it's just awesome seeing everybody in the chat. What's up, DPS? JD and Casey. Yeah, all right, cool. All right, some other ones. Riot. Looking to take profits in Riot today. Here's the 15-minute. All right, already violated the low of day. Can it get back above and save? Yeah, probably does. But here's what I'm using. I'm using the VWAPs from the low, VWAP from the low from yesterday. If that goes and we close below it on a 15, I'm out of my Riot calls. Again, another position we're up like 10x on. We've been riding for a while. We got into Riot probably back here around here in August, right? So we got this channel breakout. The thing's absolutely ramping. Again, if you look at the RSI, we're overbought. We're extended. Don't be greedy in these. These things will reset up. Other areas in the market will reset up. So you take that money off the table, you take those profits, you pat yourself on the back, hey, great trade, and then you redeploy it to an area that's more actionable, right? That's not extended, that's coiled up and ready to make a similar move, right? That's where I want my money. That's where I want the bulk of my exposure on any given day. I don't want the bulk of my exposure in some AMD calls that went 10 or 15x, and now it's this giant market value position in my account, and it's driving the performance of my account. And I'm looking, I'm saying, why is the performance of my account being driven by a trade that really has already been made and over? Because I'm sitting there holding a 10x position that's 10 times the size of all my other normal positions. That's going to determine how I do today, tomorrow, until I get rid of it, right? Have the big exposure in the positions where you think you have an edge in. Once these trades work and they explode like AMD 30% yesterday, we lose our edge. Now it's extended. It's not in a coil anymore. Take that profit, put it back into a fresh coil. That's what we're doing here. Yeah, we're feeding the ducks, Phil. We're feeding them. Okay, I'm not getting filled on my orders. So we're going to let them dance. Galaxy, another one. Ooh, did I get filled on this one? Let's see. So I'm trying to sell Galaxy 10, 17, 30 strike calls. Up nicely, been in these since probably middle of the summer. We are a week and a half out from expiration now. Look at the chart of Galaxy. Again, same thing we're talking about. Where's the edge here, right? This was the coil. Here, let me draw the coil. There's your coil, right? This is what we get in it for. You get the pop. We've already ran almost 50% out of the coil. We got a week and a half to expiration. We're deep in the money, right? So this is now a large market value position. I don't have any edge in something like this anymore. Pay myself, right? So Galaxy, this one I'll probably be selling on strength. Here's the 1 minute trading on highs of day. I have an order out at 1075. That's filled. So that's filled. Okay, great. And that happens too. I just got filled on something, 1075, and these calls are trading, they're about to be trading $200 higher, 1275. Marked like 1210 right now. That's fine. Great. I don't care. On to the next one. What else do we have today? Oh, everybody probably wants to talk about Coinbase and MicroStrategy, right? Give you some levels here. This is the 1 minute. Here's the daily, right? This is still a fresher resolution. Doesn't look like something like AMD or even Riot or Galaxy that have been really running. Well, AMD, we just got a significant pop on 1 day, but Galaxy and Riot have been running for weeks now. right? And it's like, you're getting a little greedy there. Coinbase just came out of this coil, right? So let's draw the coil in Coinbase. You can see my short-term VWAPs up in these couple candles, right? Because I'm trying to manage it with the short term. But this is the coil we're in for Coinbase, right? Let's just draw it. Boom. Boom. Right, a little false start here, retest, bang, and we got it. And we got like, 6 straight up days, 7 straight up days in coin. Now we're coiling here. I think this one's got like 450 written all over it. It's totally about to blast off. However, if it rolls over here, I'm not hanging out. I'm not hanging around for it. These calls expire in a week and a half, 3 weeks, 10/17, 10/31 expirations. So how do we do it? Where do we protect ourselves here? Where do we protect our profits? For Coinbase, I would really use a pivot low VWAP, right? You're going to get some good touches here on a VWAP. Here's a gap up candle, really the breakout candle, right? That's your level. So coin below 375, you got to be out. However, you're going to lose $700 per contract from here to there. So be aware of that, right? Is that too much of it? You don't want to give it back $700? Okay, maybe use like the low of day here. Get out at 378. That's a question you have to ask yourself. Right. So I got to look at a VWAP like this and say, okay, if that's what's going to take me out today, in the event that it happens and we get blown, am I cool with accepting $700 less on this trade? I would say, yeah. Right. That's a cost I'm willing to incur, right? To give this a chance at, look, hey, another $700 to the upside, that happens right here. 2% move from the current price back up to like 390. Right. So it goes in both directions. So I'm saying, okay, I'll hang out. I'm going to let it dance. I'll accept taking $700 less on this in the event that I'm blasted through my stop here at this VWAP. But I know that the other side of that coin is that Coinbase absolutely, the other side of that coin, see what I did? That Coinbase rips here and we're trading back towards 450 by the end of the week, right? And then I'm going to be really glad that I kind of let him dance a little bit, gave a nice cushion there, because I don't think this one's done yet. So we want to give it space. MicroStrategy, big red candle. Still trading like a dog, right? Been a decent trade for us, depending on how you played it. Stock, I mean, you look at these other cryptos and what the other crypto stocks are doing. And then I got this big red candle in MicroStrategy down 4% today. So this is frustrating for sure. Let's zoom into the 15-minute. Look, it's nasty, nasty opening action. I'll bet they reverse it. I bet they dig in and reverse it here. But if we had to protect ourselves, right? I've lightened up on MicroStrategy a good deal, but I am very exposed still. So let's just draw this one out. Look, I see a pretty clean level here. 344-ish, right? That's really it. You want this one to get blasted through there? This is MicroStrategy. It could be down another 5% today. Easy. Say crypto turns, rolls, right? I don't know what the spot crypto markets are doing, but it's all related. It's been a good run for crypto, right? Since early last week. Don't get greedy. I think this is a really big level in MicroStrategy called 344. I'll bet you, though, that does not break today. Just looking around at the tape today, gun to my head, I would think that level holds, but we'll see, right? If we blast through it, I'll be done with the MicroStrategy trade. We could always reload. Let me check the chat. Harminder. Is it a chop fest? I don't know. Gap up open, giving back a little. Look, this market is so good, right? So you got to be happy with what it's given you. You can't impose your will on the market. Market is so much faster and stronger and better and smarter than any of us, right? We're simply market takers. We take what the market gives us and we're happy. We're grateful for it, right? But we're just riding the waves. We're just there for the ride. Okay? The market could really rough you up. You have to be careful. Don't impose your will on it, right? You don't come in and say, I got to make X amount of dollars today. No, the market gave me this. Beautiful. I'll take it, right? We're just taking it. You want to be zen about this, right? Not force stuff. That's the attitude you want to bring to the market. You don't know what's going to happen, but you're just going to roll with it. Take what it gives you. Okay. How about SMCI? Irish Looper. Yeah. Really nice. So here, how about SMCI? We got in the coil somewhere around here, right? This is where we got the pop, right? So there's the coil breakout. Boom. Sold a double on this big stick here from last Wednesday, 9% candle. And look at the beautiful follow through. So you don't want to get greedy. I think you really want to draw a resistance line up here, and you can anticipate, some sellers coming in. That's just a really logical level. I wouldn't get greedier than 63.5 on this. Sure. Can we blow right through it? Absolutely. That's great. Nice things happen all the time. But 63.50 for me, I'm going to be taking profits probably in SMCI today. I'm taking profits across the board today. Why? Because it's just done really well since last week. I've been letting them ride, been starving the ducks a little bit. Now we got to give them some because I want to reload. I want to reload fresh positions. This has been a nice run. We've been in a lot of the right things. Let's pay ourselves, good trade, move on to the next ones. Fabrizio. I have a primary trend position in Riot too, but that's not really what the show is about. So yes, I'm trading calls around typically common stock positions. And like, why do we do that? Let's just like look at a textbook uptrend here. This is C limited, right? This is a good one. So when the primary trend reverses somewhere like here, right, you want to buy common. We actually got in down here because we were super aggressive on this one. We bought the failed breakdown in the scoop. We've been in C limited common since like the 40s. Sean and I are really big fans of this company and a lot of the consumer brands out in Southeast Asia. So you get in and you're in common stock, right? For the primary uptrend, right? You loose stop, let them dance. I want to be here for the whole cycle. Something like SE, I think it goes back to these old highs. So 400, we're halfway there. Great. But then along the way, right, as this beautiful uptrend, orderly uptrend, that's why this is a good example, right? Higher highs, higher lows. Primary trend is higher. I'm in common stock for as long as that remains the case. Now, I love this stock, right? I know it's going to ramp during up legs of this uptrend phase, right? So when you come out of little consolidations like here, you load up on calls. Now you have leverage for that leg up, right? And then you sell the calls and you still have the common stock, right? So you're still riding that primary trend. Then you see another little consolidation, right? You could add some calls here, ride that leg up, right? Take some profits. You're still in the common stock. You could do the thing again here, right? Add some leverage, ride that leg higher, right? With some calls. Okay, you still have the common stock. And you just do that over and over and over again. That's really what I'm doing here. Bimner, I'm in. I got like 150 share. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I think this is a trash company and probably a zero over the long run. But yeah, I'm in. Let's ride, dude. Yeah. I don't have much thoughts about it. It's the biggest grift going. These Bimners and Orbs and all these trash treasury companies. BitDeer looks great. Like that one a lot more than the Bimner. Mm-hmm. BitDeer, we finally got that breakout. We've been in this coil. We have a huge position on it. Right. So you see all these VWAPs coming. We really got this breakout right around here. Back in like mid-September. Right, but this was the coil. Boom. Boom. Right, little triangle. Got the breakout. I think this one keeps running. You're gonna get new all-time highs here in the Bibiner. I'm sorry, the BitDeer. Yeah. Like it a lot. I like it a lot. Sky T. I don't know. What's the Sky T? Let's see. Yeah, nice. Skywater technology. Semiconductor. Hey, nice base. Nice base. Maybe let it break out, buy enough strength. Sure, 20 bucks, right? I like big psychological levels. Big logical round numbers. 20 bucks. 20 bucks on the breakout. 20 gets you 36. Yeah, looks good. Sure. I'm Steve, not Spencer. I'm not watching EL Salsi. Is that the Estee Lauder? Nice. Great coil. Great coil. I've seen this one popping up on our scans. This is all coiled up. Look at the momentum indicator. Love that you're getting that cross. I'm flipping it to Trading View, Spencer. Let's look at this coil. Let's put it on the squeeze indicator. This is a good one, guys. Nice call, Salsi. Here. So throw up the daily. I got a little squeeze indicator here. Kind of help me out. Where? Come on, Trading View is such a hot piece of garbage. Seriously. Okay. Not going to give me my indicators, Trading View? I guess not. Look, I don't know what goes on here. We start doing videos and I lose my indicators there. All righty. There it is. Okay. So this is a squeeze indicator, right? So from compression comes expansion. This is directionally agnostic. This indicator doesn't tell us what direction to expect the move in. That's up to us. It's the easier part of this, really. This just tells me, hey, volatility has been compressed at a historically low level since July, right? From compression comes expansion. Volatility mean reverts, it oscillates. Okay. So when you're down on the mat here and you got a beautiful coil like this set up in the EL, right, you can see those moving averages, right? Flattening out below price, just really nice, really good stuff. There's this just beautiful coil, nice and tight, right? Coming off a beautiful ramp off of the April low. So this one goes from 50 almost to 100, double off of the trade trade war lows back in April, right into a nice coil, right? Digesting those gains from earlier in the year. This thing's probably going to pop. And this helps us with the direction. This is what's saying direction is probably higher, and the chart too, right? We have different things we could do, but it's really that it's really that simple, right? So you play this coil. How would you enter something like this? Let's talk about that. Drop a VWAP from the coil high, right, or the range highs, and you can litter them all over the chart. So put one there. Let's get rid of those indicators for now. Let's see this big price chart here. Drop another one there. You're going to be above it. You're going to be above them with today's move. So this is a beautiful coil. It's ready. I don't know if it's optionable. You'd have to check the options market liquidity. But this is lovely, right? So you're getting that pop today. If you did want to jump a coil breakout like this, you could jump it on today's candle. And then if you want confirmation, I would use it at like these pivot highs here. Use these pivot highs for confirmation. Try to draw a horizontal line. Call 94 for your confirmation, right? But that's $4 away. So I'm a big fan of jumping entries in a bull market like this. Grab is good. Grab is another good one situation. Yeah, UMAC looks great. The UMAC, the RCAT, we're in both of these making money. Drone stocks, so hot right now. All of the speculative growth stuff. I don't know if any of these businesses are real. I saw Rocket Labs put out a press release today about like they really launched actual rockets to help with like storm and disaster, like weather related emergencies. I don't know. The point is, I don't really care. These stocks are working. These speculative stocks are really working. Yeah, Circle. That's something like that should really work in this environment. Oh, this is pretty, Rachel. I forget about these stocks. They come public. I need some price memory before I can really have an edge in these kinds of trades. So you let them dance for a while, you let them trade for a while, and then you get a little structure like this that you can actually lean into and craft a trade around. If this VWAP would ever drop there, I could show you what I mean. Ooh, interesting. I wasn't expecting it to show up there. All right, so then you got to do something like this a little differently. Let's see if we can get a level. No, I don't like it still. I don't like it still. It's probably more chop in the circle for me. The VWAPs aren't giving me much here. You do have a pivot high that we're taking out around 146. Not for me right here, right now. Lunar's interesting. SATL is probably more interesting though. I have positions in both of these. Coils form across any time frame. Markets are fractal, right? I don't like the way the textbooks teach coils and these short-term continuation patterns. I teach them as if like they can only last whatever, like a couple weeks. That should be the time frame. That's bullshit. It's really not true. So here's a really long-term coil. Throw it up on the weekly chart. Look at this coil in the SATL. It's absolutely beautiful. Just lovely, right? So bang, you see the momentum cross over there. Can I please get the squeeze indicator to work? Come on, come on, come on, come on. We need a better platform for this. I want to show you guys the squeeze indicator because what you're going to get here is you're going to see a cross the momentum indicator, right? And you're going to see something really similar down here on the squeeze indicator, which I guess just doesn't want to populate for us, unfortunately. There it is, right? Down on the mat here. Look at how compressed volatility is. Never been so tight on the weekly time frame, right? And then what I really like to see is when time frames align. Shout out Brian Shannon, right? Multiple time frame alignment. So when I can see crosses like this on the weekly, and then I can drill in and get a similar look on the daily, oh, holy cow, right? So you zoom in, you don't really have the nice, let me get rid of that, the nice crossover on momentum, right? Because this gets noisy, the daily momentum readings. But you did have a sick crossover right here on the daily. I mean, look at the daily volatility squeeze indicator. And look at what it can do too, right? If you nail this volatility crossover, stock was trading around $1 back then, and it ramped to like 6 over the course of 1 month, November to December of last year. Look at the reading we got on our volatility squeeze indicator, right? Similar one here. Is it going to get up off the ground, start ramping? That'd be cool. And I would make the bet that this resolves higher, probably much higher, out of this massive coil. The lights are flickering. That's my sign. That's my signal. I got to get out of here and feed the ducks. Something must be going on. Look at the lights. Look at the lights. Everybody, don't forget to feed the ducks. You did not make a great trade until you paid yourself. It wasn't a great trade. So if you're sitting here looking around, I'm up 10x. The market's been on absolute fire. We can have a big down day any second. Some sort of announcement, some crazy White House shit. Protect your profits. Pay yourself. You've all made great trades, I'm sure, since last week. Pay yourself. Pay yourself as you go. It's not a great trade until you close it. Love you guys. Thank you for joining me. We're going to do this every Tuesday. It's an absolute blast. Get out there and feed the ducks today. Happy Tuesday. See you on the morning show, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. all day, every